Hey besties!
Hey,
Welcome back for another episode of the Hello Bestie podcast. I'm Maggie.
I'm Tashima.
Hope everyone's having a great Tuesday so far. We got some Reddit threads lined up for you.
Yep.
Tima, you want to take us away?
I shall.
All right.
So, I'm getting my phone here. Okay, this is from the Am I Wrong Reddit thread.
Okay.
Am I wrong for taking my BFF's job? Years ago, my best friend and I worked at the same company. I eventually left for another job and then another after that. About a year ago, she also left the company due to the stress and feeling underpaid. Now, as I'm preparing to leave my current job, the company we both used to work for unexpectedly offered me a job, her former position, which is actually a really good role. Am I wrong for accepting it? One of her friends told her that if I truly were a good friend, I would have turned down the offer. Update. For context, I got offered more money than what she was making. She had asked for more money before she left, and they pretty much told her no.
The friend doesn't work there anymore though, right? The
No.
friend left. This is just a job that she used to have?
It was the job. Well, I'm assuming that it was recent, not like she's been gone for years and years and years. She asked for more money, they told her no, so she left. And then in replacing her role, they reached out to her friend who used to work there and are offering her that same position with more money.
I don't think I would do it. That's a tough one though. Like the friend isn't working there anymore. She left because of stress.
And money.
And money. Like the friend is making more money. Like maybe she's a better worker than her friend was. Like that's a whole different thing. So like,
yeah,
you can't be mad at me for that because they're going to take more money.
Right.
I just think if you left a job because you didn't like it and you were stressed out and you left and then your friend left for the same reason, I wouldn't take it for that because I'm like, there's a reason how come we left this company in the first place. It's like going back to an ex. Like shit seems good in the beginning and then you get into it and you're like, oh yeah, this is why I left.
Right.
And then it doesn't help that, the whole friend situation. But in normal terms, if you and I worked a job together, we both left at some point, however recent, and they offer you a job and you go back and it happens, like I wouldn't be mad at you for that. I would be like, get your paper, boo-boo. That's what you want to do. But be fair warned, this is what you're going to have to worry about. It wouldn't even be, oh, they're paying you more money or whatever. Like, you take that on the chin. But I don't think I would do it, but not because of the friend.
It's a little closer than that, the way you're describing it. Like, we both worked for a company. I left years ago, have had 2-3 jobs since then. You're still working at the same company, but you're feeling basically overworked and underpaid. So you're like, look, I'm busting my ass. I want more money. And they're like, yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that. So you're like, fine, then I'm leaving. And they're like, okay. And then they basically call me up on the phone. They're like, hey, so we have a position available. It's paying X amount of dollars. And it literally is a position you just left.
Well, if it went like that, I already said I wouldn't take the job.
But I mean, would you be salty as her friend? Like, would you, if I was like, okay. Like, you wouldn't be in your feelings knowing, like, you liked your job. You just felt like you weren't getting paid what you were putting in.
Didn't say she liked her job.
I'm just saying, hypothetically.
I would feel a little salty in that situation the way you break it down. Yes, if literally I'm walking out the door and they're picking up the phone calling you and you without hesitation, like, yeah, I'll take that job. But this is with the implication that I have called you, I have told you what happened, I'm upset, they aren't giving me more money, and then you take the job. Like, that's like, it depends on how close they are. Like, there's
I mean, she said her BFF.
So. I wouldn't take the job.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't either. Not probably, I know that I wouldn't.
I wouldn't take the job. It just sounds like a bad idea all around. It didn't work out for whatever reason the first time.
Yeah.
You fired my girl. Like, I'm not going to come in and out and be there, but, well.
She quit.
Yeah, so. No, I wouldn't take the job.
Same.
So my thread is, am I the asshole for not letting my caterer take pictures of her work for social media? I recently hosted a milestone birthday at my home and had a local caterer create a grazing table spread for the celebration. After she set it up, I noticed that she was taking photos of the spread. While I understand why she wanted to promote her work on social media, I didn't feel comfortable with her photos. Not only was my home pretty visible inside the photos, but as part of the table decorations, my husband had set up lots of family photos that were visible between all of the dishes. Due to the layout of the decorations, there was no way the photos could be avoided in any pictures. I kindly asked her not to take photos, and to her credit, she did stop. But there was definitely a lot of tension, and she left quickly in a bit of a huff. A few hours later, she sent me an email saying that taking photos of her work when she was finished was normal, and that she thought I had acted unprofessionally. She also said that I was impacting her ability to get clients by preventing her from using the photos on social media. I told her that we paid her in full for the work, and she had never discussed taking pictures of the spread. I also explained that her photos clearly captured personal family photos which violated my privacy. She only responded by saying that it was no different than if someone took a picture of me in a public place. I begged to differ because it's not like a stranger would have just burst into the delivery room to take pictures of me giving birth to my first daughter. My friend heard about the exchange. I was venting a little at dinner with my girlfriends, and she said that she understood where the caterer was coming from and that her daughter also relies on social media for clients for her business. The table was kind of split, and I guess I wanted an unbiased opinion of whether or not I was being too sensitive about the whole thing. I appreciate any feedback. Am I the asshole?
I don't think she's the asshole. The family pictures, like she would have needed to take a picture of the table, crop it, like at the right angle, like from above, before the pictures were even put on the table. And she should have requested that. Also, going back further, if this is something that she relies on, she needed to put that in the contract and make it very clear that this is what I do, this is how I make my business, this is how you found me. So this is a requirement. So after I take pictures of the actual spread, put your family photos and whatever else you want on the table. But this is something that I have to do before anything else. So now I don't think that because none of that happened and all of that stuff was there and it is in her home and she probably was just like taking pictures of the table. Yeah, I do feel like that crossed a boundary, and she's not an asshole for saying, I don't want that on social media.
I agree with you. I don't think she's the asshole. I wouldn't want personal family photos. I wouldn't want my kids' school photos out there on social media or whatever. Like, I'm not into that, but you literally giving birth to your daughter in the hospital, those are very extra personal family photos.
Yeah.
And I blame the caterer because she should have, to your point, made it very clear, sign a contract, have a disclaimer in there that I do take photos of all of my work. I will respect your privacy wherever. Like, same thing we did for TSR,
Yeah.
You need to make it a point to do that. So that's on her. And after she was done with the spread, like you said, she should have taken the pictures. Now, a quick fix to that to me could have been, but it sounds like it was more intricate, I would think, because a simple thing would have been, oh, I don't want you using those pictures because I have the photos there. Let me remove the photos and then you can take your pictures. But then it already sounds like, I mean, why wasn't it in the contract that you're going to take pictures?
Right.
You seeing her taking pictures shouldn't have been a shock at all.
Right.
But the caterer should know not to do it with the photos there. And it's just a whole, I don't think she's the asshole.
I don't think so either. But sometimes with these threads, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because although that may be the situation, that doesn't take into account what was your tone when you approached her, what was her response when she was like, So that all plays a role in how this could have played out.
For sure.
Did you make a big scene and now the whole party is kind of looking at you snapping on the caterer and like shooing her away like a peasant? That all plays a role, but again, could have been avoided had you made that very clear. This is your business. This is your intellectual property. You are designing this table. It is for your portfolio and therefore required if you want my business.
I will say, I'm not a fan of the caterer not saying all that stuff to her face and waiting a few hours until she got home. Now, I understand people need to calm down or whatever, but say what you have to say to my face. I don't like people not being
at a
upfront.
Party. That would have been very unprofessional.
She could have pulled her to the side. You don't scurry away and then send me a nasty email afterwards when you were just here. You could have said all of this to me in my face. I don't like that.
Never done that. I mean, I'm a caterer to your event we have a little bit of a tiff, but this is your event. I'm not going to pull you aside from your party when we just had this little interaction and I see your body language and your tone. I'm not going to then go and make my point and speak my piece at your event. Like,
I
as a
understand it,
professional,
but don't
I
say it
would.
at all. That was unprofessional for her to go back and say, hey, I didn't like that you didn't let me take the pictures. That was unprofessional. She could have just ate it at the party and just left it at that. Like, okay, I'm just not going to work with this chick anymore. She clearly doesn't understand what it is. Or if you want to say, hey, just to clarify, I do normally take pictures. I wasn't trying to invade your privacy. Come at it like that. But don't, I understand what you're saying. She should have been professional. Like, don't ruin the party, but also don't go home and send me a nasty fucking email either. Don't do either of those things. And if you're gonna go home and send me a nasty email, don't be a little keyboard warrior. You could have said that when we were standing right here today. You could have pulled me aside. I really wouldn't like that. That's just my thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it sounds like they both were in their feelings about it, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anywho, you
Yeah.
got another one, right?
I do. I have a little short one. Am I wrong for expecting my partner should save me over himself? Partner and I were watching a film. In the film, the men protect their wives even if they're in danger. I asked my partner what he would do if he came to a situation like that, and if a gunman said he needs to shoot one of us and lets the other person live, would he choose to save me? My partner said he doesn't know the answer to that question as he is not in the situation, but choosing to save me would mean self-extermination for him, which doesn't feel right either. Am I wrong for expecting him to say he will choose to save me? Does this mean he doesn't love me as much?
Yes, it does. That's exactly what it means, ma'am.
Let me see what's up with
That partner should never become a husband. Let me just tell you that much.
A lot of the comments basically say, this is a good lesson of don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Facts.
It has 71 upvotes.
Yeah, facts.
Self-preservation is a biological instinct, and you should step out of movies and return to real life. How egotistical is it to expect such a sacrifice from another? Shame on you. That has 43 upvotes. It says, another person said, exactly. I'm guessing OP is a teenager or something. Because this doesn't swim like something an adult would post. It's literally common sense that self-preservation is a thing that people are born. They ate her up.
Wow.
They said, go back and do your homework, little one.
I mean, I don't think she's wrong for being like, damn, but I feel like if you have to ask that question, you already know the answer.
Yeah.
So don't be mad. Like, did you want him to lie?
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like she wanted him to lie, because if you ask a question, I would think that you want an honest answer.
Because even if a person said yes, again, self-preservation, that doesn't necessarily mean in the moment that that is exactly how that would play out.
Yeah, you don't know how it's going to play out, but like, just don't build a life with someone who has told you as a serious boyfriend, like, yeah, I don't know. I might let him, I'm not trying to be taken out either. Who does want to be taken out? But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm very big on like loyalty and stuff. Like, I would take a bullet for anyone I really love personally. But then there's, oh, well, if you really had a bullet in your face. Yeah, no, I don't have a damn bullet in my face. But I'm just saying, from my feelings, I don't see myself like sitting here now being like, I'm not sure when it comes to my family or what my kids or, you know, any of that. So
Yeah.
for him to be like, oh, I don't know. Like, no, I don't think he, to answer your question, no, I don't think he loves you in the way that you think that he loves you. Because someone who's going to be your husband shouldn't think twice. And if there is a question of that, then you guys need to look at your marriage and your relationship.
Okay.
I don't want to be with anybody who wouldn't like sacrifice themselves for me, because I would sacrifice myself for that person. Now, if she would do that for him and he's telling her, I don't know, then yeah, you got your answer. No, he doesn't love you the same way. So
that makes sense to me.
That's my thought process on it. So, am I the asshole for being uncomfortable with my roommate's dad letting himself into our apartment? I moved into this apartment about a year ago. My roommate has lived here for 3 years, and before I moved in, her older sister was her roommate. Naturally, their parents have a spare key, which I totally understand. It's been a family thing for years. But I didn't know about the spare key when I moved in, and now the way her parents use it is starting to make me really uncomfortable. The first time it happened, my roommate was at work on a Sunday and I was napping on the couch. I heard the doorbell, but I ignored it, assuming it was just a neighbor. A few seconds later, the front door opened and her parents walked in. I was startled and confused. They said they were just there to pick up her laundry. I was definitely caught off guard, but I let it slide. Since then, her parents have come by somewhat frequently. Yesterday, something happened that really pushed my boundaries. I usually leave early for work, but I had a later event, so I was still in bed around 6:50 a.m. when I heard the front door open. I could hear someone walking around and then using our shared bathroom. It creeped me out. Later, I asked my roommate if someone came in, and she said the only person it could have been was her dad. She texted him and confirmed that he came by to drop off her wallet and use the bathroom. I told her I'd appreciate a heads up in the future. She responded that she didn't know he was coming either and that she'd asked him to give me more notice. But then she added that he probably assumed no one was home because she usually has class on Wednesdays. That annoyed me because both of our cars were parked right outside the front door. He definitely could see someone was home. So I replied that if my car is parked out front, it's safe to assume I'm home and I just really appreciate a heads up. Now things feel a little tense. I know it's partially my fault for not bringing this up more seriously in the first time it happened, but I didn't want to make a big deal. I get that her parents having a key is a legacy from when her sister lived here, but I'm not her sister. I'm just a regular roommate who found the place through a roommate group. I would never be okay with my parents just letting themselves into a shared apartment. I'm not upset they have a key. I'm upset that they use it to just let themselves in without knocking or warning, especially while I'm home. It's invasive, and honestly, it makes me feel unsafe. I also want to add that I don't want her to think I feel negatively about her dad, because I don't. I understand he probably meant no harm, but this is more about my own personal comfort. It's just not something I'm okay with, and I don't know how to make that clear without sounding accusatory. Info: parents do not own the apartment. My roommate and I are the only ones on the lease. Am I the asshole?
That's a good one.
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't think she's the asshole for feeling the way that she is. And I mean, it's easy to say, why didn't she just say this in the beginning? I guess the second time is like, the first time, you don't know if it's like, you're thinking this is a one off and they clearly see me here, so they're not going to do that. But then the second time, you're like, okay, this is clearly a regular thing. That was your moment of opportunity, not like fourth or fifth time. Now it's weird. But yeah, I don't think that they should just be letting themselves in because your daughter has another roommate, a person who's, I mean, it doesn't sound like they're hanging out and they're like best friends and it's like family. This is like I pay for my space, you pay for your space. Yeah, this is an arrangement. She's not the asshole. They need to respect boundaries.
What if she was walking around without any clothes on or just in her bra or something or had someone over there? Correct. They shouldn't be doing that. No. That's totally inappropriate. Yeah. And again, I wouldn't mind them having a key either. Like, hey, one of us gets locked out or anything. It's nice to know there's someone that I can call outside of a locksmith or the apartment that can come and let us in. Right. I wouldn't say, because some people are like, oh, demand that they return their key and this and that. You know, Reddit was like going in on that, some of the comments that I saw, which, hey, if people want to go that route, then fine. But I don't think she's wrong in saying, hey, if my car is clearly parked outside and they knock on the door and no one answers, they can go away. Right. And why are they picking up your laundry when you're not here? Why are they dropping off your wallet? Like, what y'all got going on? Don't involve me in that.
Sounds like you're still very much a child.
They can come to your job and drop off your wallet to you. They can come here. So, no, I don't think she's wrong at all. That's just weird.
I agree. I think it's weird. And I don't think the key needs to be returned. I think it makes sense to have somebody that has another key. But, you know, also, just because you think I have class on Wednesdays, if I want to sleep in, you coming at 6:50 in the morning, or I'm sleeping on the couch and now I'm awakened, you're not being mindful of the fact that I live here. This is my shared space. Just because you want to run errands and it involves you coming into my apartment, if I want to sleep in and be unbothered, then I can do that. Like, you have no idea what I have going on. Just because your daughter can't get her life in order doesn't mean you now need to inconvenience me. So, yeah, they don't need to use the key. They can knock, and if I don't answer, go take it to her job. Take it to her at school.
That key for you is a last resort. You're using it as just like, you live here too. I didn't sign up to be roommate with her mom, and her dad.
Right.
I signed up to live with her. If I hear the door opening, I expect it to be her. And anybody outside of her is an intruder. Mm-hmm. Even maintenance men got to give you a heads up before they come in your apartment. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right. You want to get into Would You Rather?
Yeah.
All right. This was fun last time. Okay. Would you rather end every day by taking a bath in a tub filled with warm cottage cheese, or start every day by drinking a mug full of hot sauce?
Every day I'd take a bath in warm cottage cheese?
You would end every day.
Oh.
So before you go to bed, you would end every day by taking a bath in a tub filled with warm cottage cheese, or you would start every morning by drinking a mug full of hot sauce.
A mug.
Yeah, a mug.
Cottage cheese.
I think I would do the mug full of hot sauce, and I do not like hot stuff at all.
Girl, your stomach would be tore up.
It just sounds really gross to be bathing in cottage cheese and warm cottage cheese at that. Yeah. A bath? That just sounds like infections waiting to happen. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to do cottage cheese.
Okay.
Go ahead. Would you rather be able to fly, but the highest you can go is 8 feet, or be able to teleport, but only 8 feet at a time?
Fly.
I would do teleportation. The idea of, like, just basically fluttering slightly above people's heads.
Yeah.
You just look so silly.
I think you would look silly sitting here and then just zooming over there like 8 feet away. I don't know.
I get there faster.
Would you rather be able to change your haircut just by thinking about it, or be able to change your eye color at will?
Eye color.
I would take eye color at will too. Yeah.
Yeah. Sign me up, please. Would you rather have a Superman-esque cave of solitude, or have a car as tricked out as the Batmobile? I already know your answer.
A car as tricked out as the Batmobile. Yeah.
I'm going to take the Superman-esque cave of solitude.
Nice.
I would love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would you rather have 6 months of summer or have 6 months of fall?
6 months of fall.
We pretty much have 6 months of summer here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We already know what that's like. Yeah.
All day. Fall is my favorite. Would you rather have a beautiful wedding, but there are no photos from it, or have an okay wedding, but the pictures are incredible?
Incredible pictures. I look back on photos too much to not.
I do too. Ugh. I guess I would do the okay wedding. I mean, it's okay. They didn't say it was terrible.
Yeah.
I think I'd do the okay one.
Would you rather spend your entire wedding budget on an open bar, or spend your entire wedding budget on the catering?
Catering.
Yeah. Catering.
BYOB. That's the case. I don't need a bunch of drunks at my wedding. We need some good food.
Drunks are fun at a wedding, but
but
you
drunks
really
also
need good
ruin
food.
weddings.
They do.
Would you rather accidentally kill your friend's plants? They've been growing for years. Or accidentally lose their dog?
Accidentally kill their plants.
Yeah, I suppose. I'd be devastated.
I feel bad, for sure. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I would pick plants.
When I get a new dog, remind me to never let Tiva babysit it. Never let her dog sit.
So, here's the thing. Don't be mad.
She's like, but your plants look great.
Amazing.
They're thriving.
All right, besties. Well, thank you so much again. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, find us on TikTok. Let us know any of your responses to the threads that we read, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.